He's
Yeah.
really, I just like his.
I welcome you another Thursday night live stream. Really excited. We were just having some great discussion with Brad Rowe, who will be joining us later, and I'm joined with Rodger and Grace again this week. You guys want to say hello?
Howdy.
Hello.
so enthusiastic.
Say hi. So we are going to be talking to Brad Rowe. He is a social studies and history teacher in just a little bit. But if you're joining us tonight for the first time, or if you're a recurring guest or viewer, let us know where you're watching from. I know our community is pretty expansive. We have a lot of viewers from, I guess, all over the world because we were in Taiwan for like 3 years, other parts of Asia. So definitely leave a comment below. Let us know where you are watching from, or if you're watching the replay, let us know when you're watching the replay where you're watching from. Love to see where everyone's at in the world. So speaking of where you're from and places in the world, I'm going to put Grace and Rodger on the spot. We got some new board games added to the site. Where did those board games come from?
Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Singapore.
She beat me to it. Yeah, I knew that. I actually knew the answer to that question.
Yeah, so I think they're behind me. I don't know if you can see them back there, but they're some economics-based board games from a board game company called Capital Gains Studio. I'm super excited for that. They already come with educational resources. There's like an educational guide included in each of the games. I think like Detzilla has a personal finance guide. The cryptocurrency has an introduction to cryptocurrency, that game. So kind of learning a little bit about cryptocurrency. I know when Grace and I played that, we learned a lot about it. Had a very basic understanding of what it was. And I think I don't want to say that you didn't know anything, but I guess maybe you can share a little bit about what you thought when you played.
I mean, my knowledge was pretty limited to start. But one thing I think they do a really good job with those games and the resources is as they're explaining certain topics of, like, for example, cryptocurrency, they also explain how you'll see it played in the game. So they kind of tie it to the game really nicely. So if you're a teacher or even just a player who wants to learn more, you can kind of not only understand how it's played, but understand how that play, like, mechanic is being used in the real world, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I learned a couple things. I don't remember now because it was like 6-7 months ago. But I feel like with games, right, you're playing them over and over and over again, and you kind of eventually learn what's happening because of the mechanisms and going through the same playthrough of the game, I guess. All right, so I want to move into, we're trying something new tonight. If you are joining us for the first or for second time, we're doing different segments, and this segment is called, if I can get it going, the Community Cardboard and Magnificent Meeples segment. So we're going to look at either just a person or someone in the community, someone sharing content, maybe in the Facebook group. Something we do every Tuesday is a EduGamer of the Week or Great Gamers of the Week. So we highlight either a community or a community or a person. So in the board gaming with education space. So I want to share one organization that I had found just this last week. So I'm really excited I did find this organization. And it's called the Foundation of Able Gamers. So just really quickly, they are not, I mean, I'm sure they do some board game stuff, but it looks like they're mainly video games. But they provide custom gaming setups, including modified controllers, special assistive technology that you can play with your eyes. So when I was reading this, it really reminded me of my brothers growing up. And we had kind of opportunity and we were blessed to be able to play with some of these new technologies, like a touch screen when they were first coming out. My brothers had a chance in their computer lab at their school. They had touch screens, and they kind of play with those. And they've also had like different technologies like this that it seems like this this organization is adapting. And it looks like, I mean, you can volunteer to help the community as well. So that's really cool. So yeah, I was able to kind of share this with the group on Facebook, and this is kind of something I wanted to highlight this week as our community cardboard and magnificent meeples segment. I got to remember the name of it for next time. Yeah, but I guess Rodger and Grace, what do you guys think about this this foundation?
We're both like waiting for the other person to talk.
Yeah, I'm not sure who to
I'm
talk.
like, well, no, I think it's a great idea. I just really like to see that there's, I think some people are starting to see some value in gaming in general, whether it's video games or board games or whatever it is, that this is it can actually be a way that we learn that I don't think we're tapping into. And that it's just that a lot of people are looking at it, well, this is just entertainment, to just, mindless stuff, when I think exactly the opposite is actually true. I think it's causing a lot of stimulation and in making you think, and regardless of what it is. So I almost think that, I think there's a balance, right? Is to, you hear extremes with some people, but those are always outliers, where you got this guy that like locked himself in a room for 48 hours and didn't drink and, didn't eat anything,
Right.
and we wound up finding him dead or something. But I think that is not the norm.
Right.
That you got people that are doing those things, but they're doing it because it's fun and it's enjoyable, and you're actually learning at the same time. But I don't think sometimes that we're kind of bringing that to the focus, that's there. It's always, I don't know, stigmatized or look at it as a negative thing. Oh, you're just wasting your time doing that. And I'm completely the opposite, thought process on that.
For sure. Yeah. That's good to see the value in games, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the thing is our brains kind of are wired to do it a little bit, I think. And, it's not, and most people do. I mean, they go, oh, I don't play games. I used to ask my students that, well, how many people play games? I don't. Well, I play stuff on my phone. Oh, well,
Yeah.
That's a game. What do you mean? Or I play football, or I play baseball, I play basketball. Guys, those are all games. Inherently, it's just funny. I mean, it's the same thinking that a lot of students use, where they go, well, I don't read. Okay, well, you play, such a game and it's got all this text in it. Are you reading what's going on there? Yeah, that's reading.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, really? Well, they always think, I'm not trying to be negative, but it's, I know where kids coming from. Well, they think that reading means I have to like a physical book in front of me. Well, yeah, that's one way to read, but there's lots of ways to read, right? So,
Right.
Yeah, it's lots of ways to practice that.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had not heard of this foundation prior to like 5 minutes ago. But I definitely like the idea, and it's always great to find foundations that are trying to make gaming more inclusive for everyone. You always, unfortunately, the majority of us don't really think about how to make gaming more inclusive for everyone. So it's great that there's a foundation that really is focused on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Awesome.
Because I think, that's always, my things too, is that, if you're passionate about this, you're trying to pull everyone in and try to include everyone, because it's not just, focused on a certain group of people or whatever. It can be anybody is welcome, you know, and I think that's something we all need to work on, you know, in a lot of ways. I don't have all the answers to that, but you know, I just think that's
definitely,
because that's the thing. If you're really into it and you're excited about gaming, you know, it's like you want everybody to, oh, this is really fun. I don't care who you are, you know, this is for everybody. I think it bridges a gap, you know, regardless of how you feel and where your stand is or anything. I think it's just a really good, you know, medium to bring people together to interact with one another.
Right. And speaking of bringing people together and welcoming people, I want to welcome Brad Rowe.
Can we get him back?
Show.
We got him back?
Yeah, we got him back.
Nice little transition.
Yeah. I gotta remember which thing it is, though. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go.
Dustin doesn't know what button it is.
Hi, I got entry music and everything.
Yeah. You got the special treatment.
This is the first time doing this.
Yeah, back from the critical error.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. A blue screen or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Brad. I want to officially thank you for all the help you've been doing behind the scenes with Rodger and giving us suggestions with the website as we kind of grow and build this. So I'm excited to have you on the show and chat a little bit about games and some of the games you've been doing. So thank you for that. And I know one game you have used is called Stockpile. And would you mind sharing a little bit about that? And also, do you use any other games besides Stockpile?
Sure. So I use Stockpile for a high school economics class, and I guess, you know, you have to preface anything you use with giving people an idea of how and when you're using it. So first of all, I teach in a rural public school, and we are very small. So I have very small class sizes in general, somewhere usually on the average of about 14 or 15. So it's pretty easy to manage a class like that. But I also have a very lower academic school. We're not pretty proficient. So a number of times when you see games used, you see them in an AP or an honors class or something of that nature. And that's not what I teach to. I teach to very much a regular base of kids, you know, the average C student. So it's important to understand how you're using them, because I have witnessed other teachers using games, but more often than not, those are not with your general student body, because it's harder to teach, you know, to that level. Now, Stockpile I used in a regular economics class, and I use it for allocation of resources, but I use it as well for a different reason, which is we have a lot of absences at our school. So we're really small. So half the student body's playing sports at any given time. And in a normal year, I have plenty of Fridays and Tuesdays where I might be missing 50% of my kids. And you can't really plow forward with 50% of your kids gone. So it sounds kind of weird, but as a teacher, you need a really good plan for a substitute, because we're usually short of substitutes, and or the substitutes we have, because we're rural, are pretty untrained. And it's a really valid lesson to leave a game that kids want to play, that is curriculum based, that the substitute doesn't need to teach them. And Stockpile works in that fashion for a class like economics. If I'm going to be gone, you know, I can just literally put on the lesson plan, play Stockpile today, have them do an exit card of what they learned or how the game went and how the trading aspect went. So that's an interesting game for me for that, because in economics, you know, in reality, it's either that or they're going to get worksheets and videos. And if you've searched around for economics videos, that's not really a valid option.
So dry.
You know, and that sounds crazy, but if you're going to be gone for a couple days and you're dealing with an economics class, what are you going to give? Packets of economics math? I mean, for a sub that doesn't want to come in and manage them, for example, it's much more higher engagement for them to sit with a game like Stockpile, where they're, you know, having the human interaction, and there's the auction mechanism, and they already know how to do it and they like it. So that's a positive experience for the sub too. They come in and they don't know the games, you know, and they like seeing the kids engaged. So that's an interesting one for me, because that's primarily my use with that game is for when I'm gone, or I have a whole bunch of kids gone and maybe only 3 kids in class, which happens pretty frequently for me. I think last time we did an average, our kids are out something like 20 to 25 days a year,
Wow.
almost all excused absences. So that's how I use that game. But it does work for the allocation of resources standard in economics pretty well.
Yeah,
So that's fun anyways.
Grace had mentioned looking at games for creating substitute plans. So that's really cool. That's something that works for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other one that I use like that's been really effective for me for a long time is the 10 days series. There's 10 days in Africa, 10 days in Europe, 10 days in the Americas, and I happen to have a copy of all of those, a couple and an extra copy. And I can teach all those games at once because there are only slight differences, and we can literally have the class up and running on that within 25, 30 minutes. And then if I'm gone, I can say play 10 days. Now, I legitimately use that when I'm teaching geography and the kids have to study a particular continent. So it really works well for me, and kids really like it as part of a lesson plan. And one of the keys to that game, and the keys to any game, is you can finish it in a class period. That's essential.
Yeah.
Most teachers do not have the room to carry over games day after day. You need to get them started, played, and done in the time that you've got. And that's a challenge when we talk about setup and breakdown. But that game works perfectly for that. And sometimes the kids get good at it, they get fast, and they can knock out 2 games in a period, which they love. So
right. So I'll let Rodger and Grace, if you guys have any questions before we move into our challenge.
Well, I've known Brad for a while now, and we've chatted about this, quite a bit, because I was trying to use games in my class and stuff like that. And I think Brad kind of hits on one of the things that I was seeing, when I was using it. It's just that cool engagement you see with kids. Like, you can get some kids that, don't like to do anything, or they're just not used to it. And like, you mean we're playing games in your class? And they're like, yeah. And just watching how some of the kids get, I don't know, as a teacher, that was, that was some of the funnest moments, when they're, and like I said, you do have to be prepared. And I'm sure that happens with you too, Brad, is that I'm sure the room gets noisy, right, with this. So
yeah.
You have to have a tolerance for that sort of thing. But to me, that's like what I would call good busy noise, with kids, because, you can see it. And then I think if you can tie it to, like, we've talked about this before, if you can tie it to what you're learning, and you have, backup, say, hey, I think it's hitting these standards or whatever. And you have an administrator walk in your room, and you see those kids, and then they go, hey, we'll go up and talk to the students about it. And they, kids that probably don't, aren't willing to say stuff, that they're probably going to go, oh, we're doing this.
Right.
And they don't, I think that's the beauty of it, is they don't even realize the learning that's kind of taking place, because they're having fun. And I've always felt when their kids are having fun, it's amazing. Some things they actually learn things, and it actually sticks, right?
I'll piggyback on that, Rodger, because one of the least known standards that we teach to is the Common Core set of standards that's listening and speaking. And these standards are almost never brought in, listening and speaking standards. And they go across curriculum. It doesn't matter what you're teaching. You can bring these in every lesson if you need to. And games, they lend themselves to that. You're listening, you're speaking, you're making mini presentations to the other players at the table, whether it's decisiveness or whether you're, being bold or what have you. That's all speaking skills. And it's easy to tie those Common Core standards into them, especially at the high school level. And every game just about does that. And so I think teachers get afraid, well, how does this tie in? There are other ways other than just strict content that you can go. You can easily put a writing component on any game and make it work as an exit ticket, for example, or an analysis of the game. So one of the games I use is Ticket to Ride in U.S. history. The kids play that. That's a little bit heavier weight than what I normally go with, but it's very manageable. And I'll have 4 games going at once, right? And they love it. And then after 2 days of playing, I stick it to them. Here comes the lessons. But the lessons are higher level thinking. They're not like Colorado on your map. They're like, hey, do you think the routes that were created on Ticket to Ride match the geography of the United States? Use a topographical map. And so you're done playing the game, but I've hooked you in. But now you're so used to looking at that game board, I can use the game board for the content, which I can really ramp up. I can ramp up that analysis, and I happen to use that for the transcontinental railroad unit I do. So of course it works perfectly for that. But you can create deep thinking questions because, like Rodger said, they're engaged and they're having fun. So they're not going to have any problem going back to think of, oh, I laid my yellow trains down here between Las Vegas and Los Angeles, and I really messed up Anita, right? And they're going to figure that out, that like that's a key route, and then maybe for a transcontinental railroad, I need that route. You can just take them up. Right? It's almost like giving a base worksheet in a sense, because you're just giving them some base information that's on a game board, and then you're going, okay, I got you now. Here comes the big stuff. Right?
They reeled them in.
Sneaky.
Bait on the hook, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I definitely saw that also in my classroom, kind of what you mentioned of tying it back to the game. Whereas before, when you try to bring back something you mentioned in the past, you get like crickets. But then when you mention something in the game, like everyone has an opinion because of like the interactions that they created in the game without really realizing that there was a learning component to this. So it's really nice not to have the crickets as a teacher and not have to pull teeth.
And with what you said, so after playing a game of any kind, I find that it's easier to then create a project, if you're going to do that, where there's interaction. So, for example, I do a World War I / project that's maybe 1 or 2 days, and it's all about allegiances. It's interactive, and then there's a lot of lessons with that. But since they've been interactive in board games already, they understand that this is gamey, and it's no big deal. Like you don't have to teach the skill of, Rodger, can you talk to Brad? And Rodger will be like, no, I don't talk to people. I'm only on my phone. After you play the board game, you're like, hey, Rodger, you're going to be Austria, and I'm going to be Italy. And here's your base information. You'd be like, you're going down. Right? Because
turn into a competition in it all.
Yeah, it's surprising when you see like what you thought were the quietest students all of a sudden like open up and become the most competitive ones.
Yep.
Right. For sure.
True story.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna move into our next segment, and this is called. Let's see if I can get that right. Is that for real a board game? I tried to put together some sound effects. So I'm going to read you 3 different board games, and I'm going to stop after each one. And you're going to guess whether it's a real board game or not. So I'm going to read the statements 2 times. So I'll read the first one. Smartphone Inc. You become a CEO of one of the largest smartphone producing companies in the time when smartphones were only beginning to conquer the world. Research technologies, develop your factory, build your worldwide office network, and outprice your competitors.
So who's answering this?
Is that, all of you have a chance to answer yes or no, is that a board game or not? And no Googling over there, Grace, I see your screen.
No, I did not Google, I promise.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm checking. No, I'd say yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes? Grace?
Yes. Flipping on the bandwagon.
Just follow the pack.
It is a board game. I'm going to share just so everybody can see. It's from, I believe it's from Taiwan, actually. I'm not 100% sure. But I remember being popular when we were over there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's just recently recently came into the. It's
Yeah.
been recently available here, though. I mean, it hasn't been out a super long time here. A
No.
few months. I might be off a little bit on that, but I know it's this year that we've been able to.
Oh,
Yeah, and they
Russian,
brought an expansion with it.
Mhm.
Which was
Russian
the
designers.
big knock on the game was that you needed at least 3 players to make it stick. The expansion helps take it down to a 2-player game, which is pretty nice. But this is the kind of the classic game that you might use in a business class or an economics class, right? Especially, this is the type of game you would use as an extra credit or an extra challenge, or for your 2 students that are done early, you stick them head to head on a game like this, and help teach them through it. This is the classic use for a game like this. That's probably too big, too heavy for most of your kids, but a couple of your top kids might be really interested in this.
Right. Yeah. Cool. The next one, Soda Pop Rivals. You must develop the best soda pop recipe by drafting ingredient cards to create the tastiest recipe. Use your unique player abilities by tapping into your family's secret recipe to create recipe combinations that impact your soda's taste and popularity.
I'm gonna say no. It sounds like
Is
a
that
great.
board game?
Yeah, I'm going yes on that. I think they. I'm going to say yeah.
I would say no. I feel like it's a little too specific.
It is not a board game.
Ah,
It does sound like a fun game, though, right?
gave somebody an idea. We just gave a designer an idea. I'm going to go make that.
Oh no, I think we lost Brad again. He's kind of frozen there. I'm going to try to
Yep.
bring him out and bring him back in. See if that works.
As
Nope.
soon as you said soda competitors or whatever, I was thinking food magnate for a second.
Okay.
Right.
But then as soon as you got into the rest, I was like, okay, no,
No.
not that specific.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get Brad back here, but we'll continue with our challenge. The next one, in Doll Mania, you run a doll factory trying to produce the most popular dolls on the market. To achieve this, you buy tiles to upgrade and customize your dolls and hire specialist employees to help you.
I feel like that one sounds like the soda one too. I would say
I'm going to go
no.
no on that. That doesn't make any sense.
All right. What if I told you it was based off a game called Automania?
Oh,
Oh.
I've played Automania before.
I just changed
that game I played, but that one
the
doesn't.
topic.
Ah,
Oh, you
interesting.
changed the topic.
Sneaky.
So it's just in
But
Doll
that-
Mania,
Yeah.
you run
I
a
played
doll
that. That's-
factory.
Yeah, so you're making cars. It's kind of a pretty cool game. I liked it. Played
Yeah,
it
it looked
before.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Alright.
It's pretty fun.
So those are what I got. So you can tally up your own scores. If you're playing at home, and you're watching, you can tally up your own scores as well.
Yeah.
We do
1
have a
and 2.
game, but I'm not sure. Maybe we should wait for Brad and see if he's able to join in the next couple minutes. I don't want to pressure him if he can't make it, but maybe. So we were gonna play Werewords, but we need 4 players for that. So maybe we'll try a Nabi. But we'll see if Brad comes back in just a couple minutes.
Okay. Yep. Nothing we can do about it. It's just
Yeah.
technical stuff sometimes.
Technology. Yeah, so what did you guys think? And maybe if you're watching, let us know in a comment what you think about the new segments in the Thursday night. The segments and the new format.
Yeah, let's see. Are we getting any responses here?
We don't have any comments on Facebook or YouTube.
Just seeing.
I like
There's any-
hearing more specifics about how teachers use games in their classroom. This is my first time chatting with Brad, and I feel like he has a lot of a different perspective on how to use games, which is fun.
For
Right.
sure.
Right.
Yeah, it's good to see. I mean, Gracie had mentioned doing subbing plans, and it's good to see that. I mean, Brad's already there, right? So it's
Yeah.
something that people could use during subbing, like if they need sub plans.
Yeah, you know that. Sorry, I thought that was really interesting that he was using that with his subs. You know, which is, I don't know if I would. I probably would if I was comfortable enough with it, but just kind of the way he actually kind of presented, I was like, that kind of got me thinking that, yeah, that might be potentially a good way to, you know, I think it depends how comfortable the sub might be, because, you know, but the thinking may be, oh my God, this is going to be chaos. The kids are like, they're playing games in class. But, you know, if you laid it out properly and the kids have been, you know, you're used to it, probably a better, there he is probably a better way to do it. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, especially if the students have had like some introduction to it beforehand. The sub literally just hand it to them and
let them go. Could potentially, in my opinion, actually make an easier sub day than I even imagined, which is what you want it to be for them.
Right.
Yeah. We're just talking about, Brad, how you're using it as a sub thing, which I was like, wow, I don't know if I would do that, but if your kids are used to it, the way you kind of explained it, I'm like, yeah, that's actually super beneficial. That might work way better than you imagine. Like I said, I don't know what kind of pushback you get with substitutes, but it seems to me that some of them might be like, oh God, this is going to be like, you know, letting kids loose in a, you know, cage with gorillas, or, you know, chimpanzees throwing bananas or something, you know.
Well, usually, I mean, if I'm preparing for day out, I'll tell them ahead of time, hey, you're playing Stockpile tomorrow, or you're playing this presidential election game tomorrow. So they're pretty jazzed anyways. They're happy I'm gone, you know.
Yeah, of course. You know, they never want to.
They always are.
Yeah. Substitute. Yeah.
But you know, the subs really do like it. I mean, because the kids already know what to do. It's exactly what you want. Self-directed learning. Go grab the game, set it up. I'm in charge. You know, you're first, I'm second. Sub just sits there usually and watches and asks questions like, "How's this playing? What's going on?"
Yeah.
I've actually never ever had a negative sub report on any day that we've had games involved. Never.
Yeah, that's what I imagine it being, because when I first lived in LA, I was a TA, and I ended up getting my subbing credential because I was sometimes frustrated being a TA with the sub in the room when I have teaching experience already. And I would notice there was a lot of combatant challenges when the sub would say, no, you don't do that. But the students already know how to take care of their classroom, right? They already have roles in place usually. And when maybe a student's up walking around and checking attendance, the sub doesn't like that because they're up walking around. But if you have a game that's very self-directed and they know what they're supposed to do, the sub knows that this is that plan for the day, right? And it's what they do.
Well, and here's the other thing that can't be discounted. I mean, I only know what goes on in my district, but I'm sure this has got to be across the board. There's plenty of days when you leave a computer lesson and kids go to log on and the internet's down, or the computers aren't working, or Timmy and Johnny can't get on, and then the sub's got to deal with two kids that can't, you know, or they forgot their computers or whatever. With your board games sitting right there, that's never an issue. You're leaving the board games, you know they're there, you know they know how to use them. You're not going to run into any technical difficulties with a physical, tangible object that's sitting right there, you know, other than lost pieces, which is sort of a chronic issue, but you have to be careful. But yeah, I mean, you know, when I leave that, I know that they're not going to run into any of that issue of, oh, the internet was down. Oh, great. You know, and because we're rural, that happens to us really frequently because we don't have cable internet. We're still on a transponder, you know.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, and then you have a sub who can't even get on the computer. They're not allowed. So if you have board games sitting right there and you tell a sub, hey, these 4 kids can start these games or whatever, it's pretty easy to organize and it's a fail safe as long as you've already taught it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they kind of have to already know the game, right? Though.
Yeah, and they have to like it. You can't leave a game they don't like, right? Then you're just going to create problems, you know. Like, or a game like, you know, another good example is Monopoly. So I use Monopoly in economics, but I would never leave that for a sub because Monopoly has that very bad game strategy where you can eliminate a player really quickly, or 1 or 2 or 3 players know they're going to lose in the 3rd round, and then their discipline issue or behavior issue. So that's best taught when I'm in the room because of how that mechanic works there.
Right.
Which we do use, by the way. I do use Monopoly in economics, and that's a fun one because we play communist Monopoly. So we play regular Monopoly, and then we play communist Monopoly, where you share everything. And I stole that idea offline. Somebody else had it.
Yeah, there's a cool lesson plan for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it lasts like 10 minutes before kids sit up and they start looking at you, and they're like, you're like, yeah, I know it does. Like, I don't even want to play. I know. What does this tell you? So it's a great lesson. You have to play regular Monopoly to play communist Monopoly because they're miserable. Or no rules Monopoly. We play no rules Monopoly too, because you have to have an economic system. So what if there's no economic system in place? What if you have a government, right? What if you're like Somalia, that where their currency is, it is sheep or paper that you can burn in the wood? I mean, you have no economic system really. You have to have one. So in Monopoly, when you take that out, that game lasts even less than communist Monopoly because there's no rules. And it doesn't take very long for some person to figure out that I can just kill everybody. I win. Yeah, you do. So
yeah, awesome. So we are going to play a game, just maybe a quick round of Werewords. We might have someone else joining, but maybe not. So we'll get started. Have you played Werewords before, Brad?
No.
Have you played Werewolf?
Yeah, I think, is that the One Night Werewolf game?
That's similar. So yeah. So Werewolf, you have like the werewolf that's trying to disrupt the village by pretending to be a villager and eating the villagers in the middle of the night. And you have to deduce who the werewolf is. So it has that element to it, but it also has 20 questions, which if you're familiar with, like, it's kind of like a road trip game where you're thinking of something. Maybe I'm thinking about a water bottle, and someone can ask yes or no questions to figure out what I'm thinking of. So they might say, is it a person? No. Is it a thing? Yes. Is it something you can hold? Yes. Is it something that you can drink? Yes. And then maybe eventually get to water bottle.
So, yeah, I mean, it sounds familiar. Could I just interject for a second? So this is something I wanted to say before I, had another critical error. Is that, so many of these games, if you look at the game and go, I can't use a game like that in class, but you use the exact mechanic to plan a lesson. So just based on this game, you could say, who am I? Which president am I playing this game? Right? One person's the secret identity president. You can monkey these mechanics a little bit, and you get a lesson out of it using the same mechanics, even if you don't like the theme of werewolves. And you're like, how does that fit into government? It doesn't. But I can use the exact same thing and get what I want out of it as a teacher, either directed or otherwise. And Rodger, you said something that just brought to my mind, which was it was the soda pop game you guys were talking about, Soda Rivals. I didn't hear if that was a real game. Is it real?
It wasn't.
No.
I was like, oh, that's perfect. I could use that mechanic, to do something else very easily. And I think games, that's a really underrepresented thing that board games do. As a teacher who's looking to design something creative, the mechanics there, all you gotta do is steal the mechanic and apply it to your lesson, and you can get some very good stuff because you can direct it too. So anyways, I just wanted to interject that on this because people might be thinking, I'd never use that in a class. Oh yeah, you would. You just use it with your curriculum.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point too, is like, I was talking about this 2 rooms and a boom. That's a very sometimes I'm scared to say it live on a stream because it's not very thematically appropriate for the classroom. But you can look up 2 rooms and a boom. It's not an awesome game to use in school, especially in the US. But you can retheme it to like cat and mouse, right? And I've used it for teaching language. I don't know how it might apply to other content areas. You could look at like maybe drama class. Grace and I had talked about maybe looking at resources to develop for drama class for something like that, because you're trying to put on a role as someone. Right?
I used that one in my drama class and the students loved it.
Welcome, Mari. Thank you for joining us again this week.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Mari.
Awesome. So we have 5 of us for Werewords. So yeah, I guess does that kind of make sense? The game 20 questions, but then with werewolf, which is essentially someone's trying to mess up guessing the question or guessing the word. So they're working against everybody else. And some strategy that the werewolf might employ are like asking strange questions, but not too strange because you don't want to give away the fact that you're a werewolf. And there is one other player that is called the Seer, and they know what the secret word is. So they're helping the team figure out what the secret word is. So I'm going to use the private chat for Brad only. So make sure Grace, Rodger, and Marty, you are not looking at the private chat.
Gotcha.
Because I don't have Brad on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm going to
gotcha.
use everyone else. I'm going to chat on Facebook.
Oh, you're going to use this? Or, okay. Well, I just clicked off of it. You're going to use
Okay.
Facebook? Or are you going to use the comp?
For
okay.
you and...
oh, okay. I gotcha.
Grace and Marty.
I understand what you're doing.
Well, I don't have Brad on Facebook, so I'll...
I think we can rectify that pretty easy.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
be an easy,
I could,
that's a very easy fix.
Maybe I'll see if I can find you real quick. So it looks like maybe Marty will use the private chat? Or can I message you on Facebook, Marty?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay. I don't want to read your
What's your
stuff
last
out.
name? Can you private chat me? Huh?
Yeah, I think I found you, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to read your school out loud and give away all your personal details.
Yeah, like
Yeah, please no.
he works here and he does this, and his credit card number is 54365.
So you
Go buy a
send something
couple-
in the private chat. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to use the private chat for you or Facebook?
I prefer the private chat, but Facebook is fine if you cannot use the private chat.
Yeah, I can do the private chat for you. I can just only do it for one person because then everybody can see it. Yeah, I got Brad. Perfect. All right. So I'm gonna message you guys. I'm gonna message you your roles now. So this is going to be your role for this upcoming game. And then find everybody really quickly. So I'm giving out roles for those watching. I'm giving out roles to players, whether you're a villager, a seer, or a werewolf. The villagers and the seers are working together, and they're trying to guess the secret word, while the werewolf is trying to make sure they don't guess the secret word. And they're asking 20 questions, yes or no questions. I have some tokens that represent yes or no here. In the game, you actually have real cards that you give to players, but you don't. I mean, you can actually just play this game without the cards and tokens. So I'm going to share my screen now. So the app walks you through everything that you need to do. So normally the mayor would wake up. So we'll just go through this really quickly. So the mayor sometimes can be a werewolf, but I'm the mayor, and it's just easier for me just to be the villager. It just makes the game simpler. And then it'll show me the word. I can choose one of the two words. And then eventually it'll ask I have to choose the word. It'll ask the mayor to close their eyes. And then the next person will have to wake up, which is the seer, and they will get to see the word. So now it'll say seer, wake up to look at the word. They'll know the word, and then it'll say seer, go to sleep. And then it'll ask the werewolf to wake up. If there are multiple werewolves, they'll all wake up so they know who's on their team. But we only have one werewolf. And then I think we have it set up for 3 minutes to guess the word. So I'm going to stop it. I'm going to remove it from the stream just for the beginning. And I will message everyone, the seer. I guess the seer and the werewolf, I will just message you what the secret word is. So you know what it is. And I gotta remember who the Seer is.
It's not that many people, Dustin.
Yeah.
There's only 4 of us.
All right. And so it's just gonna start in just a second. I have some fun Halloween tunes for this too.
Getting all festive on us.
All right. I think it's gonna be going here in just a second. Oh, nope, it's not quite there yet. Seer's still up, closing their eyes, but everybody knows their role and their word, right? Okay.
Should we all be closing our eyes?
No, it's okay. 'Cause I just removed the screen. Okay, you have 4 minutes to figure out the magic word.
Yeah, so playing it
Is it a
online, you win.
person?
Is it a person? No.
Is it
Is it an animal?
Is it an animal? No.
Okay.
Must be an object. Is it
Is
an object?
it not alive? Is it not alive?
Is it not alive? Maybe.
Okay.
And then is it an object? Yes.
Object that may be alive.
Is it fluffy?
Is it fluffy?
Do we have unlimited questions or just a limited amount of time? I don't know.
Yeah.
You have,
ask
you
as
have
many as we
about-
want.
like 40 questions. You have
Is
this
it
many.
made of metal?
Is it made
Yeah.
of metal? No.
Yeah.
Is it something you can find in your house
Yes.
that might be alive?
Maybe alive. That's a trick.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it in the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it related to electricity?
No.
Is it food? A type of food
Yes.
It's a type
in the
of food.
kitchen? That
Is it a food that a human or an animal would eat?
Human or animal.
That sounds like two
So either or.
questions in
Either
one.
or.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it kept in the refrigerator?
I'm gonna go with maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
I don't like these maybe answers.
Like.
Is it vegetarian friendly?
Yes.
Vegetarian friendly.
Does it come in a wrapper?
Yes.
Does it come in a wrapper?
Is it homemade?
Maybe.
Can you grow it in a garden? Is that the homemade part?
No.
Hmm.
I spelled vegetarian wrong.
I'm looking at my kitchen like, what do I see?
Yeah.
Is it a seasoning?
No. You have 1 minute.
Does it go with chicken?
Anything goes with chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Did you say no?
Said maybe.
Said maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, what doesn't go with chicken? Everything goes with chicken.
Do you have to heat it before eating?
Have to? No.
Okay.
20
But maybe we
seconds.
want to.
So many things that could be. Ah.
Is it a breakfast food?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. We're getting a lot of maybes.
This was an easy one, I thought.
Yeah. Well, apparently not for us.
Oh my god.
Time's up.
Do you guys
Oh,
hear that?
no. No, I didn't.
No.
Oh,
So now we got to find out who the werewolf is.
How do we do this?
Yeah, that I hear. So we have a minute to kind of negotiate who we think the werewolf is.
So I guess Rodger's 2, Grace is 3, Brad's 4, Marty's 5. And you'll put up your finger for who you vote for when the clock hits 0. Oh no, we lost Brad.
Okay.
But he was what, 4?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys can discuss.
Oh, I thought it was a exclusive decision.
No, you can discuss.
Kind of vote. We can kind of maybe convince somebody of your position, but
I already know who I'm gonna vote for.
So Rodger 1, Grace 2. Oh no, 2. Rodger 2, Grace 3, Brad 4, Marty 5.
Yes.
Ready, set.
Oh, we didn't really have much time to talk.
yeah, no.
4, 2, and 4. Okay, so who was the werewolf?
Me.
Oh. So she would win.
Yep. So Marty the werewolf would have won because they did not guess the werewolf who was, working against
so it's
them.
bread? That's what I was thinking it was.
Yeah, it was
just like
I mean, when he asked a question that was like, really? Can it go with can it go with chicken?
right. Now, what happens if somebody guesses the word, Dustin?
So if someone guesses the word, then Marty has one chance to guess the seer.
Got it.
Seer
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was bread. I was going, that sounds like bread to me.
Yeah. And
yeah. I was the seer and I was thinking about saying it at the end, but then I feel like we were kind of far away from it, and I thought it'd be too obvious for the werewolf to.
Right. I was almost gonna say that actually, because that's what I was thinking it was. I was going, that sounds like bread. Maybe.
You thought it was bread?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was leaning to, because it just said, well, you could have it either way. That's what kind of led me to thinking that, like you said, it could be in the fridge or it could be out.
And it's
and then it being alive, yes, it kind of technically is because of the way you make it, right?
Yeah,
because you're using yeast and stuff. So that was good. As far as that goes. Huh.
Awesome. We'll see. I mean, I don't want to pressure Brad, but if he joins again, we'll play another round with him. But we'll wait just maybe a couple more seconds. I know he's using different technology than normal tonight. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, this game, I mean, we've played this game a few times live, and I think it's a great game for reviewing vocabulary or terminology for different content areas. I've loved it for using it for English language teaching. It's really easy to teach too. I would carry this game around with me all the time on campus. And I know we had a little critical error, Brad.
Right.
We got the new name, the nickname. Yeah, so I did bust it out when I was with some international students who were like, there was a literature contest and I was a judge for it.
Critical error, Brad. Okay. I wouldn't have got that hardcore on you, but
but
awesome.
like I was saying before, I assume you finished the game and found out that the who everybody was. Yep. Yeah. But that's the kind of game you could easily do a 20 questions based type of thing with some secret roles around the room. Give 3 or 4 kids, or give every kid a secret role, and you just start pounding out some questions. And they, like I said, they could all be a presidential. If you're going to go president, or it could be, hey, we're going to do campaigning for government, and you've all got an issue, right? And here's maybe some stuff. There's lots of ways you can use that mechanic. Even if you don't like the theme, it works just fine. Or Rodger, I'm sure your science brain is buzzing with 1,000 ways you could do that in science.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, it's just like you said, you could take that stuff and, like you said, you can take mechanics of certain games and mold them to your curriculum. And if you have the game in front of you, you can use certain games are going to be a little better for that kind of thing than others. I mean, I think you might have a harder time if the game's got, a little more involved mechanics to do it. But something like this, it's even like this game Nerdwords that we were, demoing earlier. You could, even though it's science-based, the way it works, you could mold it to any curriculum. I mean, it could be English, it could be, social studies, it could be, whatever you want.
Right.
So.
All right, let's maybe squeeze in one more round.
Okay.
I'll message you guys what you're, and I see Luis Monte is waving hello. Hi, Luis. Thank you for joining us and saying hi. I think not all the comments are coming through because I've seen some on Facebook that didn't show up here, but that's okay.
Gotcha.
All right, so I'm gonna give you guys the roll again, and if you are a werewolf or a trying to figure out where everybody is and talk at the same time.
I wanted to confess to Brad. We all voted for you for werewolf.
Well, 2 people did at least.
Yeah, majority.
Yeah. Okay, I think everybody has a roll.
Dustin,
So
I got
yeah.
2. I got one roll that came across on Facebook, and then I got one on private chat. Which one am I using?
Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, maybe I should redo it again.
You should redo it.
Yeah.
I'm private chat.
Yeah, I'll redo it. It's okay. Let's do. All right, so this is your new role, the second one.
Wait a minute.
I spelled it wrong.
But I got one on Facebook and a different one on the private chat.
Yep. You don't want to look at the private chat one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's for Marty.
Oh, so I'm supposed to shut that off. Okay.
Yeah. That's all you got to do.
Gotcha.
Should I do it one more time?
Yeah, one more.
The world.
I'll do it one more time. Let's see. Maybe I won't change your role this time though. It's spelled Grace Villager, not Villager. First time. All right, I think everyone has what they're supposed to be. Let me double check. So we have 2 villagers, a werewolf, and a seer. Okay. All right. I'm going to see what the word is. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try it. We'll try this one. Those are. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again because those were. One was yacht, and the other one was peach. So I think it was like either way too easy or yacht is kind of out there. I think.
We could have gotten it. Well, maybe we didn't get bread, so maybe not.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little worried. This one's a good one, actually. This one's a really good one. We'll see if you guys get it though. All right, so it's giving me the seer, telling the seer to open their eyes, close their eyes. But again, you don't have to do that because I don't have the screen. But if you did have this game and you had the app, it would just walk you through what to do. I'm going to share my screen here in just a second, so it gives us the time. All right. 4 minutes to guess.
Okay, is it alive?
Is it alive? No.
Okay.
Is it an animal?
No.
So you just said it's not alive. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you find it in your house?
Can you find it in your house? Yes.
Okay.
Is it in the kitchen?
Yeah. That's we're staying there. No, not in the kitchen. Is it used for entertainment?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't give you guys the word. Oh my goodness. So if you're the seer or the werewolf, I'm giving you the word now.
Okay.
Forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, that might help.
Or I'll pause it for a few seconds.
Okay.
It's used for entertainment.
It's used for entertainment.
Is it related to technology?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Marty always asks the maybe questions.
Yeah.
I can see.
Maybe.
How's it maybe related to technology?
Does it need electricity?
No.
Okay.
Is it something you use every day?
Maybe.
I was feeling that maybe coming. Okay.
Is
So
it
he
only
said
used? Is it only used for entertainment?
I'm gonna go with no.
That was a little hesitant, though.
Based on our crowd. Based on our crowd.
You don't need electricity.
Okay. You don't need electricity. It is used for entertainment, but it could be used for other things.
And our crowd, does it have to do with games?
Where's it at? So close.
So close.
Is it furniture? Because it's
No.
a sometimes thing.
Okay.
Furniture, no.
Is it a board game?
Entertainment. Sometimes entertainment.
What did you
Board game.
Yeah. That was the word? Congratulations.
Yay, great.
Cover the magic word.
Or
All right, so the seer. Who is the seer? Oh no, werewolf. Who's the werewolf?
that would be me. And I was really
I think-
badly confused for the first part of that game. I'm just gonna say, I wasn't asking anything because I'm like, I think I'm supposed to have a word, but if I ask for the word,
I'm gonna give
I
it
just
away.
sat here like the worst student in the class. But, like,
Yeah, that was my fault. I kind of gave away two with one of the clues. So you have a chance though to figure out who the seer is, so you can guess who was the one that also knew the word.
I would say Rodger. He was awful quiet.
Oh.
Wasn't me. I was a villager.
Who was the seer?
Villager.
Me.
Yeah.
Actually, I knew you were the werewolf, Brad, because you said it's in furniture. I was like, what does that have to do with entertainment?
Oh no, he's gone again. Oh no.
I think the question you asked about it not using electricity was good, because I was thinking like television, video games, like all electric stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
You can
I wanna
trust me as a seer.
I want to thank Brad again for joining us as our first guest this week. I got the
thank
spelling
you.
right this time. And Marty, and thank you for joining for the game again this week. And Rodger and Grace, as always, thank you.
It was
So
fun.
that's it. Yeah. We'll be back again next week, and then the following week. But then after that, I think it's Thanksgiving, so we'll have a week off. But feel free to join any week.
It's like, I think we're a little. Isn't that towards the end of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, you're a little
23rd.
26.
2 more
last
Thursdays.
week of November.
Yeah.
Is it 2 more Thursdays?
The
Oh,
last-
maybe it's 3 more. 3 more Thursdays.
Yeah, I think it's 3
We'll
more.
be back for 3 more weeks, and then Thanksgiving. Cool.
It's the 26th.
You're ready for
Awesome.
Thanksgiving, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm already ready.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.